want to stress again that there's no perfect answer. There's no guarantee for anyone. This affects every single person differently. We have no idea until you are positive with coronavirus how your body will respond. Personally, I think very much this is a very important video because I think the most important strategy here is to prevent everyone from getting to that point where they need the hospital, okay? So the most important thing that we can do is to treat ourselves at home within reason, following, a lot of guidelines as best we can. I know it's new to a lot of people, but we want to avoid that 911 call, this particular virus, COVID-19. Very little scientific data is available. All we have are theories, all we have are applied data that we have for other viruses, and we have, ancient knowledge for centuries of other cultures sharing ideas. I was thankfully able to get my hands on absolutely everything, and a lot of things have been tried on me. All right, so I have a disclaimer here that's really important for you guys to follow. The most important thing here is that magic works differently for everybody. There's variables for everything. It's completely inconclusive, so we don't have enough time or energy or participants to test every single piece of magic on every single known virus, on every single person. It's just impossible to have enough scientific data on all of this information, especially since this is a new virus and we have absolutely no information whatsoever at all. So all we can do is apply what we know to this virus and hope for the best. This information is ancient. This isn't the first plague. You really must know your own limits. I am not responsible for anything that goes wrong, okay? So do your own due diligence. Test an area to make sure that you're not allergic to something that I've suggested. Ask your doctor. Do a drug interaction checker, please. Make sure that the drugs that you are currently prescribed to are cross-checked with anything that you have been suggested to take for this coronavirus or are suggested by this list that I have. You can go to WebMD and look at your medications against pretty much anything on this list. If it's not on this list, ask your doctor to see if there's any kind of conflict, if he's available. Everything that I'm suggesting must be practiced safely. Everything that I have suggested needs to be practiced safely. Please. Read the label. Follow the instructions. Okay? Too much mustard can really, really hurt you. Garlic is antiviral. It helps your immune system, but that doesn't mean that you go and take 10 bulbs, mash it up into a smoothie and drink it, because you'll get sulfur poisoning or other poisoning. It just won't work, okay? It's not the right thing to do. What you want to do is you want to try and trick this virus into not knowing what's coming at it every 2 seconds. So, don't only rely on garlic. Rely on everything that you have. There are lots of things that we can use, and it's about attacking this thing that's growing inside of us that requires certain things to be comfortable, and we want to make it as uncomfortable as possible while supporting our body. And just, take full accountability of your own health care. We are all responsible for ourselves. I cannot stress that enough. A doctor has to be responsible for a big list of people. They're responsible for a lot of things. They have a lot to remember already. It's really hard for them. I can't imagine, okay? I try to do everything that I can to make their job easier. So that's my disclaimer. So we need to get that fluid out. Now there are so many things that we can do to avoid that from happening. I have provided a training manual as best as I can. It's short, but we can all add to it. This is an anti-mucus magic list. So it's not just a one trick kind of thing here, all right? So to stop that mucus, it's not about, oh, hey, you know, I'm gonna take this magic pill and it's gonna fix everything, because it doesn't work like that. You need to have a routine, you need to have a schedule of treatment, you have to have other things that also help with the mucus. So you need to add, you know, hot soups and teas, you need to add antiviral foods and you know, immune boosting foods. You're going to be doing 5 different things to try and prevent yourself from getting to that point where you call 911. And it's going to be very strenuous because you're going to be sick. You might be alone. The most important thing for me, I can say, is the heat therapy. Without the heat therapy, I don't know what the other things would have done. But you know, I did everything together, so it's really hard to say how one thing worked more than the other. Our main goal here is localized heat therapy, which means to apply it to the place that really needs it. Generalized heat therapy would be like something like a sauna, a shower, or a hot bath. When I took a hot bath when I had my fever, I felt nauseous, okay? I overheated in the bath and it was too much for my entire body to handle. But if I sit with my back up against the fire, okay, I didn't get weak. I felt like I could keep going with that. If I do not have a fireplace, I'm going to show you some other ideas that you can use, because not everybody is privileged enough, like Harry Potter, to have his own wizard castle. I think there are other ways that we can produce heat. I didn't always have a fireplace when I grew up either. So you know those rubber things that you fill up with warm water? We used that mostly when I was a kid. And you know, there's an opportunity that you might be able to use a heating pad perhaps, and some other variables. It's well established that the common flu, other coronaviruses, even SARS, was intolerant to temperatures at high heat. Your pumpkin spice latte is served at 160 degrees. The guy who's making all of these protective personal equipment, PPEs, has suggested to use heat to sterilize them. Now, we will know in a couple days whether or not that is successful. I am saying that we must start using heat to kill the virus within our bodies as well. So, if they're successful at killing this virus off of all of these face masks with a little hot air, okay, that's not combustible, okay, they do not want to combust these masks. They're simply adding warm heat, not enough to destroy the particles of this mask, but to kill the virus. So there, indeed, you can drink hot soup. We're not trying to, you know, drink boiling soup here, so don't drink boiling soup. Don't drink boiling tea. Like, that's not the solution here. The solution here is really just at serving temperature. You know, you can let it cool down a bit and drink it slowly. It's drinking it the whole day. It's over the whole course of the day. It's trying to drink that soup throughout the day, or having hot broth or hot teas or hot chocolates, and trying to get that heat to go down the esophagus and to impact your lungs. Now, you can also apply heat to your external body. So you can use a heat pad, okay? Or you can use a blow dryer. This whole situation. Note to self, create a spell that instantly rolls a joint. Perfect. Now, somebody holding a blow dryer in my direction, okay, is going to add warm air to my face. You do not need to burn the skin. What you're trying to do is you're trying to increase the air temperature around the body, around where they're breathing, so that they can breathe in warmer air if it works. We don't know if this works, but I'm trying to help people who do not have access to a fireplace, do not have access to a heating pad. So we can maybe use a towel, a hot towel, and making sure that the temperature is not too hot to burn somebody, but to place, you know, hot cloths and interchange them over the chest. So these are things that might be able to help. Taking a hot shower, you know, and trying to apply the heat with the hose all over your chest and your back while, you know, trying to breathe and do those exercises. And of course, hot soup. It's really ancient, people. People have been telling you to drink hot liquid left, right, and center, and people are sticking to iced teas. Harry Potter should not be swearing. But your iced tea, like, come on. Like, do not drink your iced orange juice. I don't care if you're in California. I don't care if you're in Arizona and it's 45 degrees out. No ice. Seriously. All day. You know, start with tea, start with, you know, soup every day, all day until this is gone. So there's a lot of different applications that we might be able to use to localize heat therapy while you're drinking the soup and doing the horseradish, as well as the other remedies that I have. My favorite is horseradish. It's really the safest one, can be used for children. And horseradish, okay? So this is just from Walmart. I don't, you know, I get the extra hot stuff. And it's gonna make you cough. Okay, it's gonna make you cough a lot. But slowly take it down your throat and breathe. But you're supposed to just put it on your tongue a little bit. Don't put a lot because you could choke. Put a little bit on your tongue and try to breathe in your mouth. Okay? Now, breathing exercises while doing this horseradish is very important. So now that I have swallowed it, okay? Normally I eat this with soup, hot soup. Both of them go together. We also have another one that can be orally taken. It's a capsule. People who have mucus, and there are some studies here that it helps with people who have influenza, and it's been used many times. So that's called N-acetyl-cysteine, okay? N-acetyl-cysteine. This is most commonly abbreviated as NAC. And this is an old drug with variable anti-influenza properties. It helps with congestion, but I do have some proof here that it is successful. And what we're trying to do here is to prevent you from drowning, from having too much fluid in your lungs. We have Vicks Vapor Rub. Vicks Vapor Rub, I've used my entire life. All of us in our family use it. We've all got lung problems, so when we get sick, we usually resort to this. I use it very generously. I put it on all over my back and all over my chest, and I also sit by something warm. I put a shirt on and I'll put something warm around my chest, and I'll do breathing exercises with this on as well. Sometimes I will also put this on before I get into the shower. I just found this cute little trick. It's called a Vapour shower. So, you know, this infuses the shower steam. I have these beautiful little aromatherapy essential oils, okay? So this is eucalyptus, and you can put it in one of these diffusers with a candle in them, Okay, so this has a candle. It heats up this little bowl here. You put the eucalyptus in, and then what you would do is, as it is heating, you would take that and you would waft it while breathing in as much as you can into your lungs, and that's going to work the same as the Vicks Vapor Rub. Somewhat. I would not suggest putting that on your body though. So the Vicks Vapor Rub is the topical formula, and if you're going to use the essential oil, just use that for wafting and not to do it too much. Is mustard seed. Now, my grandmother would grow these mustards, black mustard seed specifically. She would send me a bag of mustard seed every year, and I always had fresh seeds. So, I've only done it a few times. I did not have to use it for this coronavirus, okay? I would probably recommend using all of my other tricks together before resorting to this. And it's a very powerful component, the use of mustard in everything. And it's proof, it's got many proven values. The poultice that I grew up with, it's just a bit tricky because the component that's in the mustard seed degrades very quickly. So you can't use warm water, it degrades with heat. If you get ground mustard, it'll be a lot less powerful. Now, what this does is it flushes blood to your lungs, and it forces the blood to the surface of your skin. It helps you breathe, okay? But it's very powerful. It does leave you vulnerable after, so there are some things that you do need to watch out for. Some people do have a very sensitive reaction to this, and I've done it. After the mustard plaster, you do need to make sure that you amp up your soup intake, you amp up your immune boosting, your antiviral, and kept very isolated, you know, kept away from dust, kept away from particles. You know, you're not allowed to run outside after, even though I felt better. And, you know, for the next couple days, I was on repair mode. Okay, so, and there is an entire article on it, okay? So I would recommend following these instructions and read this entire document before you proceed. And of course, I would do every single thing else that you can find on my list first before doing the mustard, okay? But like I said, if it's the only thing you have access to and you're desperate and you do not have access to the hospital, or you're afraid to go to the hospital, you know, for many other reasons, it's possible that you could use this if you do it very carefully and are mindful of everything that I've mentioned here. After I do the soup and horseradish combo, I do breathing exercises. Now this is really important. Now, my grandmother had lung cancer. My aunt died of lung cancer. She had one of her lungs removed and then was only left with one lung after. My grandmother had part of her one lung removed. My mother has chronic emphysema, and I have already a chronic cough at 35, but I mean, we have bad lungs, let's just say that. So I am very familiar with techniques to strengthen your lungs, repair your lungs, and you know, for situations where we get viral pneumonia and bronchitis, you know, things like that. So lots of practice, okay, personally, with all of these things that I'm sharing with you. Not only do I have practice, but I have, you know, 4 or 5 different people in my family that have suffered. So I'm not going to share with you the breathing exercises because there are a ton of them, okay? You can get on the ground, you can pound your chest, you can go and you know, you really let all of the air out and you sound like a monkey. Trust me, you do. I can't tell you how many mornings I had waking up to those breathing exercises because of somebody in my family trying to recover. You know, my Aunt Natalie, she had oxygen, she had a lot of support when she was left with that one lung, and she had to do a lot of training to learn how to live with only one lung. Now, so there are those exercises that you have to do in tandem with the horseradish, because you're going to be doing the hot soup, horseradish, and breathing exercises. So I do that 3 times a day, what I just shared with you, okay? Horseradish, soup, breathing exercises, heat, and I'll sit by the fire with my back against the fire as well. Manuka. This is like active honey, unpasteurized raw honey. Oh, magic. The most important thing is that you must get raw, unpasteurized honey. This means that it hasn't been heated or sterilized, because you want the active ingredients in that honey. Okay, now the special thing about honey is that it's full of protein as well. That doesn't mean that this is successful against COVID-19, okay? So we don't know, nobody has dropped any honey on the COVID-19 to see if it thrives. It could, it might do absolutely nothing, but it does have protein, and that will help with your lungs repairing. So I eat this all day. When I get sick, okay, I have a spoonful every couple of hours. Sometimes I will just go like this. And you want to hold it in your mouth, okay? It isn't about swallowing as fast as you can thing, okay? You really want to coat everything in your mouth. You want to swallow it slowly. You want to drink some tea with it, or some warm water, okay? You want to do another spoonful. Do like 3 spoonfuls with some warm water. It's amazing, okay? That helps repair the lungs, helps repair if you have a sore throat. It might not kill the virus, it might not make you better, it might not heal you, but you're giving your body support, okay? You're giving your body protein, and it's going to help. Honey's good. Okay, zinc. Now, zinc helps to maintain immune function. Now, there are also studies that this is antiviral as well as immune boosting. Again, we don't know if it will kill COVID-19, but we know that it's immune boosting. So really good to have on your shelf. But don't take too much, because too much zinc, you have things like EmergenC, cold effects, things like that. You know, sometimes they run out on the shelf because people buy them. There are single ingredients that you can buy individually. Okay, so we have vitamin C, vitamin B, riboflavin, niacin. We have a lot to, you know, to thank for this. We don't know what applies to COVID-19 at the same time, but we do know that this supports the immune system, and it gives your body the essential nutrients to fight off this virus, okay? Oh boy, do I ever love these. Now this, Harry Potter loves these. So I get these really delicious chewable ones at 500. And I eat like 5 at a time, only when I'm sick. Oh, this one hasn't even been opened yet. Oh my God. I feel like I'm doing a product review as Harry Potter. So many copyright issues. Okay. So here's 5 chewable vitamin C's. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's 2,500 milligrams of vitamin C. I will completely piss it out. I do it anyway. I eat them very slowly. Okay? Very slowly. I don't know why. All day. And I just consume these really slowly. About, okay. I'm gonna eat it quickly now, because you get the message. Make your own soup, people. Bone broth is extremely important. Okay? You need protein to help your body that's damaged to repair cells and to give it the necessary nutrients to fight this virus. Really beneficial things that come out from the bone marrow and things like that, okay? You cannot buy bone broth unless it is, the first ingredient is chicken. If the first ingredient is chicken stock, then you're just getting watered down yellow powder. I don't know what that does. It might be good, who knows? It's good for salt. And I make my own bone broth. You can check my recipe. It's hard to make, but the whole soup you don't even have to worry about. Just get the broth, okay? Warm it up, make a really good broth, and just drink it all day, okay? Grab a soup and drink it. That is going to warm the area around your lungs, and it's going to make this virus uncomfortable. And just add the antiviral foods and the immune boosting foods, and just hope for the best, you know? Hope that this garlic attacks COVID, or at least makes it uncomfortable, or that the ginger works, or the ginseng works, or whatever you're using with all the other tricks that I've shared with you tonight. Drinking that hot soup though, really, I could feel, you know, moments after, for having a dry cough, being able to actually cough up some stuff. So, you know, there are benefits to this, okay? You're going to make sure that fluid does not fill up in those lungs by taking horseradish and applying Vicks Vapor Rub, or using eucalyptus as an aromatherapy and filling the room with that. And then at the same time, you're going to be taking spoonfuls of honey throughout the day. We want to avoid being put on a ventilator. We want to avoid going on life support. A lot of us have a do not resuscitate order, someone pointed out. They may look at that order and choose you between another person who has a request to be put on life support. There are so many variables. Are there enough ventilators? Are the ventilators successful? This is the first plague that we have a ventilator for. All of the other plagues, we didn't have ventilators. I don't think it's increasing our chance to live this ventilator, particularly with viruses. The ventilator is for mechanical lung failures, not viral attacks. You know, it may be more helpful using heat, or perhaps increasing that temperature. I know right now they use that ventilator at body temperature, which is 37 degrees Celsius. And at that temperature, you would be reducing the fever around your lungs, and you would be making it more comfortable for the virus. Lowering the temperature is making it more comfortable for the virus, and it is well established that heat affects viruses. We don't know about this particular virus. There's not enough studies to show what temperature it's sensitive to, but we know that some viruses slow down replication after 27 degrees, and your body temperature is higher than that, so it does in fact slow down, but you know, increasing that heat might kill it or even slow it down even more. So we need to look at how we can use those ventilators a bit differently. If we can add heat with that machine, what is a safe temperature for internal moist air? And is that more successful? We don't know. Does it make the ventilator more successful in this condition in treating a virus? Now, for me, I would prefer to get to a point where your lungs do not fill up with liquid. What we're trying to do here is to prevent you from drowning, from having too much fluid in your lungs, and getting to that point where, oh my God, I can't breathe because my lungs are full of fluid. the most important thing, I think, during this period is to keep people out of the hospital so that doctors can maintain the health of everybody in the world that have other conditions, and that all of our resources are protected. And I think that we should just be very careful at doing everything that we can to help our doctors, and to not only rely on our healthcare system completely and to say, oh, I'm just going to take a bunch of pain medication until this virus completely takes over and then I'm going to end up in emergency. No, that's not the answer, okay? Be a responsible citizen. It's enough to try to support themselves so that, you don't just end up, hey, here I am, it's finally killing me. I didn't do anything except for take a bunch of Dayquil. Like, come on. You wonder why you get to that point when all you take is Dayquil and sleep and ice cold drinks and cold showers. I mean, that's exactly what the virus wants. And then it wants the ventilator so that it will get more room after it's taken all the room that you have. So there are other ways to be attacking this, and we need to think about everything differently. And I know that this is a very controversial video, but right now nothing's been proven, and we need to look at everything possible to prevent ourselves from getting into the hospital, and that's all I really have to say at this point. I do not want people to attack me. This message really is mostly for people who do not have access to ventilators, who need this information. So if you are one of those people that want to take NyQuil, then go for it. Please do it. But if you're one of those people that are scared of dying, then use these tricks the best you can without harming yourself. There are balances that we must maintain. Okay? Thank you so much, and I really hope that this works for everybody's sake. And I will start looking for a magic trick to just heal the world. And another magic trick to just fix all of this inequality and all of this anger. Unfortunately, those ones aren't as easy to create.